Hey everyone, it's Ben and Jen again with the It's Who We Are podcast, and today we're talking about how to quiet ourselves or how to quiet yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yep. Yeah, it's a really important skill knowing how to quiet ourselves. Otherwise, we're just like busy, busy, busy all the time and we're stressed and agitated, and it's just a really difficult way to live. But the same with this skill, like all other skills, it's something that can be learned. If you haven't got it, it's never too late. So, yeah, like practice, we can do it by practicing quieting exercises, and that leads us to being less agitated, and we're able to rest from the busyness of life because, as everyone knows, our life is crazy busy these days for lots of different reasons.
yeah,
Yeah. And there's lots of practical quieting exercises that we can do, and then that, leads to less agitation in our lives and giving us that rest that we need from the busyness. And quietening ourselves actually is something that turns on our relational circuits. Yeah. I don't know if we've talked about our relational circuits before.
I don't know. I think we might have, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree with that. It does.
Yeah.
I think quieting is really important, and even if it's just fear, even if that's all you did, it would still be helpful.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't like check in with somebody or have a CO2 partner or something, but
Yeah.
it would still be helpful just on its own, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Just as part of your everyday life, and you can easily make it part of your everyday life. But talking about our relational circuits, there's circuits within our brain that they can either be off or on, and if they're off, like, we find it really hard to relate to other people, and we just want those people to go away. And
I have a story about that.
Yeah, okay, go on.
The other day, you were there too.
Yeah.
But the other day, there was a removalist truck in our street, and he had I had like a couple of mils next to my mirrors to get through. I tried to get through, but the back of my ute is high at the back, and it hit their mirror. And as I was stopping to get out and go talk to them, the guy ran up and just was super aggressive with me.
Yeah.
And that instantly turned my relational circuits off. It was instantly turned into fight mode. I don't have a flight mode. Mine is straight into fight. And that's what I did. Not like a punch-up fight, but yeah, I just fully got into him, and cause he just turned my relational circuits off, and that's what happened. And it had to just walk away from it eventually.
Yeah.
But nothing happened of it. But yeah, it's just that's what it's like to be fully switched off.
Yeah.
And after a while, I talked about it and thought about it, and even though I was in the right, I still reacted in a really poor way. But I could come back and turn my relational circuits on later, and be back to joy. So I even was like thinking about what had happened, and I was even like, because when I've had altercations in my life before, I've had a lot of them. It usually takes me days to get over it.
Yep.
Days and days. But this time, by a couple hours later, I was fully back to normal. Back to not normal, my old normal, my new normal of being able to be joyful, and like literally had rolled off my back. And so I finished with it and talked to the owner of the company and all that sort of stuff, and it was all good. So, and then I was able to fully walk away from it and not even care. So this stuff that we are learning, these brain skills that we're learning, it has real effect on just your being in like your life, your being within life, normal everyday life, and it's really helpful. It's changed me a lot.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the a short story of when my relational circuits were fully switched off. That happened recently.
Yeah. I can vouch that they were fully switched off. But also, I think, do you think like the more you practice this, like the time would become even shorter that you're able to, calm down and get back to joy?
Yeah, I would hope. I know that I'm going to get there one day.
Yeah.
But I know that when tough things like that happen to me, I'm not even going to react in that way like one day.
Yeah.
Like I'm not there yet, but I know one day I'll just be able to be calm in the face of things like that instead of getting angry.
Yeah.
But it will definitely like speed up. I remember getting in trouble at school and it taken me a week to get over it. And it's a long time since then, but it has been, I have like got the time for me to get over things is much shorter now.
I remember a time in my past life where it took me years to get over something, like years and years and years.
Yeah.
I'd stew on it, every
Yeah,
now
totally.
and then.
Yeah, it's not even weeks. Like you think about it many years later.
Yeah, and I think some people get stuck in things for their whole
Entire
lives.
lives.
Yeah.
Feuds with their family and stuff like that.
Yeah. No,
and that's when
really
your
hard.
relational circuits are off for a very long time.
Yeah.
And every time you think about it, it switches it off again, and like you dig yourself a deeper hole.
Yeah. And when our circuits are on, it's much easier to relate to each other, and also, to relate to God as well. But quieting is also like the first step in being able to process pain in our lives as well. If we can quiet ourselves, we can work into that pain and things like that as well. And also, if we can quiet ourselves, we can remain relational for much longer in a difficult situation. Yeah. Like in that situation you're in the other
or be
day.
relational from the very beginning of it.
Yeah.
I know it would have been totally different if I could have been relational, but it was funny because my brain was trying to be relational and the other side of my brain was not letting me be relational. Yeah. I remember it happening like at the very beginning of it, but then it totally went off. Yeah. It was a struggle at the very beginning. Yeah. It was funny. I was like, it was almost there, but it didn't work.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. We had a situation the other night when we were out and we were all sitting in what do you call it? Those seats where we were at the show. Just like a big set of seats that you watch sport on. I don't know what they're called either. Yeah, I don't know, but you sit and then the people in front of you are sitting
in the bleachers, in front.
That's an American word.
I don't know what the Australian word is.
But apparently the lady in front of me was getting really upset because we had a whole bunch of kids with us and they're all, they were sitting for a long time, so they were a bit restless. But I was just going through in my head if she says anything to me, like how I would respond to her. Like gently and quietly. But I had time to think about that one and it didn't happen anyway.
Yeah, just reminding yourself on the go.
Yeah, so we might just talk about some ideas of things that we can do to help quiet ourselves, and we can do it individually, of course, but we can also do it as a family or as a group of people. And like an easy one is just having some quiet time and we can say things like, let's just take a break, we'll just take a little time to breathe, or let's just sit quietly for a minute, or let's just notice, what Jesus is up to for a minute, just sit quietly and ask him where he is and what he's doing, or let's just take a break for a minute and see what we notice is happening around us. So it's just taking that time to quiet yourself and actually notice what's happening around you and not be, in the middle of stressful situations all the time.
It's good if you can if you could get yourself to think in that spot, but what happened to me before is like it never works out like that for me.
Yeah.
For me, the way that I have to do it is purposefully do it every day before I do anything else. Yeah. It's like and then it gets my head into that relational space for the day. I can always be knocked out of it, but if I do that, then I can be in a space where I can be relational. I start off from that relational level rather than trying to drag myself into a relationship throughout the day or fight myself to make myself or try and make myself be nice. Yeah. It doesn't work. So if I can do it in the morning and get myself in that relational space, then I can move forward throughout the day with that. Yeah. I have a lot of other things that I do as well, but it basically starts off with quieting. Yeah. Obviously, because we're followers of Jesus, I do it with Jesus involved. I talk to Jesus, and then I have a CO2 partner, a Church of Two partner that I check in with as well. And that's just how I try and start my day off. Yeah. Anyway, as close to daily as possible. But that's the way it works for me. It doesn't seem, maybe I'm just not there yet in the brain skills department, but in the moment, it's a massive struggle for me. Yeah. And I think even if as a family, I would really struggle to do that, because it's like if something's pissing me off, that sort of outweighs everything, even the way that I think. Yeah.
What I'm wondering though is it something that we can just practice in our day-to-day lives with each other? Just, like intentionally say, okay, we're just going to have a break now. We're just going to be quiet for a minute. So we're practicing that, like in our everyday lives, if we're, like homeschooling with the kids or, doing whatever, just, every now and then say, okay, like we're just going to have a quiet break. And
in a formal place, like I guess our semi-formal learning place where we learn every day, I think it would be easy actually.
Yeah.
Because we're just like, if everyone's getting annoyed with each other,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really easy to do it in that place.
And then that's just practicing those skills to help us for next time.
Yeah. It's like our groups, like in leader teams, it's where you get to practice. And at first I thought it was like, no, we're actually doing this as a church. Like a real church, except online. So it's like some people would say that's not really real, but it has been.
Is real.
And so that I used to think it was just the church. It was just our church, and it's that as well as a really great place to practice. So we get to practice often.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's the key, isn't it? The practicing often. Yeah. Another skill I've heard of with young kids is called like strong sitting. And you can get them just to sit on the floor with their legs crossed and just like their hands in their laps, their backs up straight, and just say to them, okay, we're just going to sit quietly here for like 30 seconds. Start off with 30 seconds and do that 3 times a day. And then you can build it up to whatever age they are. So if they're 2, eventually they'll be able to learn to sit quietly for 2 minutes. If they're 5, they'll be able to learn to sit quietly for 5 minutes, and it just gives them that chance to settle down and calm down. But that's something that you would have to intentionally practice with them.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Because it would make you, or give you the opportunity to like set aside things that are going on so you can actually just think for a minute, even if that's what you're doing. Because especially now, you don't even get a spare second to think. You're always doing something. And I'm always doing something. I can't just sit. So either I'm doing something outside or I'm doing something on the computer or... And
that's where this skill comes in handy, you know, just to have that time where you are just sitting and
then you can
doing nothing.
Learn to be aware of yourself.
And of what's going on around you, because I think a lot of times we're not. We're just so involved in what we're doing, we're not necessarily aware of what's happening around us.
100%.
And another thing that's good if you've got, you know, like little kids and things, or even, you know, like adults, I guess it's going to work, is just having like a signal or a word. Like if you're feeling overwhelmed and you need to have a break, you know, just have a word that everyone knows. And when you say that word, you know, you just stop doing what you're doing.
I'm just wondering what my word would be.
We could have a signal, a hand signal. That could be even worse. I'm wondering what
my hand signal would be.
But really, like in our family, we practice it within our family, and all the kids know that if they say the word stop, whatever someone is doing with them or doing to them, it's time to stop because they need a break, and you know they just automatically know that.
Yeah, it's interesting because that didn't happen to us when we were growing up.
No,
Stop didn't mean anything.
No, it meant go harder. So that's a few ideas. Also, there's some really great breathing exercises out there, and there's even apps like on whatever it is, your app store. Like breathing apps and quieting apps. There's a really good app that a guy called John Eldridge has put together. It's called the 1 Minute Pause, and it actually reminds you, however many times a day you want to do it, is to take this pause for 1 minute, and you just put the app on, and I think there's, you know, like quiet music and things like that, and you just stop for a minute. And you can actually build up to 10 minutes, so that's a really good tool to have if you need help doing that.
I did another one. It's not a Christian guy, but the Wim Hof breathing stuff. It's like helps you hold your breath for a really long time, so you can focus on other. There's lots of reasons that people would do it. But it's awesome.
No, there's so many different things, and simply just stopping and just take a couple of deep breaths, you know, and just calm yourself down, slow yourself down, and then, you know, you're in a place to move forward again. And then there's like the 5-5-7 breathing, where you take breathe in for 5 seconds, hold your breath for 5 seconds, breathe out for 5 seconds, and if you do that for 10 cycles, that's about 2 minutes, and that's a really good one to calm you down. And another easy one is just like simply yawning a couple of times. That actually
helps. Yawning is really helpful.
When you make it sounds weird, but it actually works really well.
But everyone knows what it feels like to yawn. It feels great.
It just exhales all that stuff. And there's another one that we've done a few times. It's called Shalom Your Body, and it's a little bit more complicated and it's a little bit weird. You feel like a bit of an idiot when you're doing it, but we can put a link in the comments or something underneath if anyone wants to have a look at it and give it a go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So what, I know we've talked about it a bit, but what strategies do you use to try and quiet yourself?
Yeah, well, I could just lay it out how I do it every day. Like I just, because of the group that we're a part of is Luke 10, we learn how to like be relational, and so part of it is getting back to joy. It's a big part of it, and the way that I try and start off my day is like I write down things that I'm thankful for. It's just like being thankful, having gratitude, appreciation. I just started writing lists. I don't know, when I first learned about Luke 10, and then you shared a video with me about 1,000 things or something.
1,000 gifts, by Anne Boskamp.
And it made sense to me, and I just started doing it. So my list is like, I don't know, I had to start multiple lists because it makes my phone die because there's so many on the list. So I'm on many lists, and of my old phones. But I had one list at the beginning was 4,000, so I'm probably around 10,000 now. I just keep going, and it's been 5 or 6 years. Not every day anymore, but I try to do it. That's part of that's how I start. Just trying to turn my relational circuits on. Sometimes that's all I need.
Yeah.
But other times it's not.
Yeah.
And then I just hang out with Jesus, ask him what he thinks, what he wants to tell me for the day. Sometimes I read the Bible, and then stop when something sticks out to me, and then ask Jesus about that. And then I'll usually try and share that with my CO2 partner, and then. A lot of days I'm on online groups. I facilitate that as well, so that even boosts my joy even more. So I can it just keeps going from there. But as a facilitator, I have so many opportunities to hang out with people. So I have it's a bit of a cheat there for me. But like that's how I start off. Just the basic. Just probably takes me 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, if I'm on the run and I feel like I need to quiet myself, the best thing I find are those breathing exercises, because you can literally do them anywhere and nobody even knows that you're doing them.
Yeah.
So if you do, if you're doing your breathing exercises, say your 5-5-7 or whatever, you could be, sitting on a train or standing in a queue at the supermarket and just doing it and nobody even knows. And even the yawning, that's an easy one to do as well when you're out and about. So they're the ones that I like to use when I'm on the run.
No, that's cool. Awesome.
Okay. So I think that's probably about it.
Yeah.
For quieting.
And that was like connected to last week or our last call as well, wasn't it?
Cool. Yeah. This is just some ideas of how to quiet yourself.
So that's cool. Yeah. All right. Leave us comments and stuff. Comments and subscribe and all that sort of good stuff. So, see you later.
Okay. Thanks.